Had you gotten permission from anybody to be back here? Just because of the vehicles moving around, this equipment, it's not necessarily no safe. Public allowed, just to make sure that the proper permissions again isn't the right word.
I'm not exactly sure that we can allow you to do this as press.
This highlight today is going to be rather simple, but it's going to showcase a major difference between public servants that are transparent and those that aren't. But before we jump into the footage, allow me to provide you a bit of context. Inland auditing media has been getting tips and leads for several months now, all leading to the school district in Shoreline, Washington. And what many of those leads have in common is the fact that their school buses have maintenance issues, specifically with their floorboards. This prompted Inland Auditing Media to conduct an investigation without any prior knowledge, and what he catches on camera is a sheer lack of transparency and a misunderstanding of freedom of press. Let's roll the tape and show you exactly what I mean by that. We sincerely hope you all enjoy, and stay tuned toward the end because we're going to show you a difference between this and another school district that he went to in the past.
Hi, who are you?
Someone working on something.
I'm sorry?
Just working on something.
What are you working on? Who are you with?
Myself. Just.
Okay, this is private property. You're not allowed to be on here.
Private property?
Yeah, this is the district. This is like if you.
This is like a private Christian school. I see. I didn't realize this was a. This is like a private Christian school?
No, this is the district, but we don't allow people to just come on here. Can I ask?
You mean public district?
Public district. You can go to the district office. They're right down on 185th and...
Yeah, I guess I'm confused. How did you come to the understanding that this is private?
So we don't allow people to just wander on here.
On the public property?
You'll have to go and talk to the district office about that.
Yeah, I mean, I already got it approved.
You did?
Yeah, about 245 years ago.
Okay, so you should really go and talk to the district office.
Here, yeah, I mean, I'm good. Like I said, I just got to finish getting my photos and videos, so.
But sir, I'll tell you what. We need to call someone from the district office.
You familiar with any complaints from parents or children about like floorboard issues, like weakened floorboards, kind of, you know, bouncy, bent, warped holes in the floorboards on buses? Doesn't sound familiar at all?
No.
Okay.
That's scary.
Well, I'm not saying that's the case. I just, you know, coming down here to get kind of just general B-roll footage of the buses, just kind of a general outside perspective. I know I can't go on to them while they're on the lot, but
yeah,
they've actually got statutes in Washington specifically about going inside of buses, so
they do. But yeah, I don't think any of our buses have warped floors.
Well, you know, I wouldn't think so. I know the Washington State Patrol goes and lotteries the buses, and my understanding is they actually end up coming back through, and in a certain range of time, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 years, they end up eventually inspecting every single bus.
They do surprise inspections as well. So
I didn't know that.
They just randomly show up.
That's really good. You know, I know a lot of people don't like the State Patrol because they'll write their own mother a ticket. But on the other hand,
well, they're doing their job.
When they're inspecting the buses, it's kind of hard to go wrong with that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, generally you don't want that to happen.
Had you gotten permission from anybody to be back here? Just because of the vehicles moving around, this equipment, it's not necessarily no safe. Public allowed. It's not necessarily no safe. Public allowed. It's just not safe. That's the big thing.
I mean, fortunately, my mother and father raised me with some pretty sweet ninja skills. So,
liability as far as the district is concerned, regardless of our reflexes, not being someone who's covered under the district in case something does happen, that creates a whole can of worms.
Yeah. No, so, I appreciate it. Trust me, I'm not looking to get hit anyways. I like walking around and generally being upright and mobile.
Right. Yeah. But generally, we for safety, it's just if you get permission, it's not necessarily no safe. Public allowed, and someone's walking with you. I would understand that would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to walk me, that's fine. I got permission a long time ago, though.
Well, but permission for this exact day at this time for this thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was sort of a general kind of the old guys 245 years ago, they're sort of just like, you know, if you're pressed, it's just sort of like, in general, you know,
Sure.
those wacky dudes back
I
then.
can see that standpoint, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, it's best to just let people know that you're coming so that we're aware of your presence and so that everyone in the space is aware that you would be here.
Yeah, and you know, I can totally understand why you would
Yeah.
say that. My particular function as press makes it sort of pointless to do that, though, because if I'm gonna catch a government agency doing the bad
Do you by
thing,
chance have a business card or some sort of
I don't on me. I
identification?
just don't carry anything like that.
I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure that we can allow you to do this as press.
Ooh,
There's
I don't-
no.
Yikes.
I'm not sure about that. My concern is just I understand where you're coming from and freedom of the press, but also the safety has to be considered.
Yeah.
So I
Sure.
get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
First Amendment, I 100% understand that. But also, especially from my perspective, if I somehow hit you with my vehicle on the way out because dark clothing, if it happened to have been in the morning, I can only imagine how horrible that would have been, not for you, for me, and for the district as well.
Sure.
So press being here, I understand.
Sure.
But also proper notification through the right channels to make sure that everyone is aware that you're here instead of just showing up, walking through the gate and saying, well, I can watch out for myself, so safety is not a concern.
Sure.
Safety is of the utmost concern. And you'll hear them, I get that, you'll see them, but still, just to make sure that the proper permissions again isn't the right word.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure that we can allow you to do this as press.
Ooh,
There's
I
no.
don't-
Yikes.
I'm not sure about that.
Definitely
Just that
isn't.
people are fully aware that you're here. The proper
Well, if you
notification.
want to just sort of let everybody know, just say, hey.
Oh, no, the director's.
The director's here, that's her job.
So you are here videotaping for what reason?
Just working on a story.
And I presume you're with a news agency?
I am.
And what news agency would that be? You don't
wanna
have to
share-
give me your personal name.
Yeah, I don't want to share that yet. I mean, if I got a business card from you or something when I'm done working today, I'm happy to email you, let you know what's going on. In fact, I'd be happy to share some of what I'm working on right now, only
I would
because
love
I've
to
gone
know,
around and gotten
because
some.
you're making my entire team very concerned because of what we do and the fact that these buses are transporting what cannot be replaced.
Sure, yeah, and I definitely make sure I show up when the irreplaceable is not present. I've got leads from some parents. Now, I want to be clear, this is from several months ago. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get up here before then. That there's some condition issues with the floorboards in some of the buses now. I'm
Conditions with the floorboards.
with the floorboards specifically, yeah. This is a story I covered 2023 through 2024, and then once I started publishing those stories, I had parents reaching out from different districts saying, you know, my kid's complaining about X. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that is actually the case yet. I know WSP comes through and does inspections and all that. I'd be frankly a bit shocked, but I did get some leads that seemed credible enough so I wanted to come up here and check. Now, I know statutes do prohibit me from getting on buses even if the door is open, so I'm certainly not going to go and do that. But I would be interested.
So then how would you get your documentation regarding the condition of the buses if you did not get on the buses?
Obviously, can't make you do it, but if you're willing to take me maybe on a lottery selection of a few just to show random conditions of the floorboards.
All of our buses are inspected by Washington State Patrol.
Sure, yeah.
They have ultimate say as to whether our buses meet safety protocols.
Sure.
And they do.
Fair enough. Would you be willing to stand behind that with maybe just randomly picking 3 or 4 buses and taking a quick walk?
Can I get your name? I'm the public information officer
Hi,
for the
yeah,
school district.
really,
Hi.
Steve.
Hi, I'm Rachel. Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
likewise.
So we've been advised that you should not be here. It's for your own safety. People aren't supposed to be on this property. So you're more than welcome to film, to photograph outside of the lot. Typically this is closed. The gate is broken right now. So we do need you to leave the property. If you'd like to fill out a public records request,
Yeah,
you
be
can
willing to do
submit
that in a minute.
form.
I'm just really confused. While I understand that the gate is broken, there's nothing that indicates that there's prohibition from
We
entering
don't
the
need to
property.
post that because it's a safety issue. I've spoken with our what member of our Shoreline police staff who confirmed that, and he suggested that we help you to an area that's more safe for you.
Suggest, or are you trespassing me?
We are not trespassing you, but
Okay.
this is for your own safety.
Yeah, so since it's just a suggestion or recommendation, I'm going to politely decline.
And we're going to politely decline to speak to you anymore, and you can submit a public records request.
Okay, yeah, certainly can't
Thank
make
you.
you talk to me, so.
I can trespass in?
he's taking his safety into his own hands, but we are no longer conversing.
All right.
You know, I understand perfectly that these guys really didn't have to let inland auditing media on any of those buses if they didn't want them to be there, but at the same time, for the sake of putting all those rumors to rest, that would have helped out greatly in doing that. And not only does that make them look bad, but the fact that inland auditing media was able to walk into that lot completely unimpeded by neither a sign nor a fence. And nobody, and I mean nobody, could give a straight answer as to whether or not he was even allowed to be there. So of course, the way I see it, he was allowed to be there given time, place, and manner restrictions. Time being during open hours, place being where it's publicly accessible, and in a manner that is lawful and legal. Him exercising his First Amendment right, of course. Now, we the people, I want you to compare everything that we saw in this interaction to one that he had in the past in a different school district, where not only was he completely unimpeded with recording whatever he can see, but one of the employees even allowed him to go on one of the buses and record the inside of that for the sake of easing those rumors of poor maintenance.
Is there any way, I don't know, I mean, I know this is a total drop-in, but as an investigative journalist, I have to do those things, because usually when you schedule something and there's something wrong,
they get something ready.
They get things ready, and yeah, they do all that. Is there any way you'd be up for maybe taking a walk around and showing just a few random samples of the buses?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we service right in front of you. Like I said, you probably see right about 100, maybe a little bit more. We also service Bremerton School District, which has around 35 buses, and then Catalyst Public Schools, which is a charter school in Bremerton. They have, I think, 4 or 5 buses, and then Grapeview School District, which is a tiny single school in Mason County, and they have 4 buses. So
any way we could walk on one so I can just randomly get some footage of the actual floorboard area?
Sure. Which one? This one?
Sure. Yeah.
So this bus is a Thomas, and I think this is 2012-ish. See if I'm right.
That right there is exactly what transparency looks like, and I only wish that Shoreline, Washington did the same thing here. I mean, yeah, they did help this man out with getting a public records request in, but other than that, I can't say they did very good in this video. In spite of the fact that they were unprepared for anybody walking in with a camera, I still think that their attitude toward him was a little subpar. Those are at least my thoughts on this, but what are all of yours? We'd love for you to share with us in the comments down below. But what's far more important, we the people, is for you to make sure that you go subscribe to Inland Auditing Media, aka I Am Free. Make sure to let him know that Recognizing Our Rights sent you, and give him all the love and support that you feel he deserves. And also, everybody, in situations where you have to deal with tyrannical cops or any tyrannical public servant for that matter, you need an attorney at your side at all times to protect you from worst case scenarios. That is why we encourage you once again to check out the description and the pinned comment down below. Both those things have a link to Attorney Shield, where if you use our promo code of ROR1776, upon checkout you can get your first purchase 10% off. Not only look at those links, but also scan the QR code to get your first purchase in to more easily have yourselves an attorney on speed dial, baby. Aside from that, we only want one other thing from you, and that would simply be to never stop loving the good old Constitution. Thanks once again for watching.